Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, this next reading is inspired by recent Supreme Court actions and a comment. In one of my videos, a viewer was commenting that they remembered seeing a Katie Couric, Neal Katyal interview after a Trump rally about 9 months ago. I'll have a link in the description if you want to see it. It's about the 20-minute mark in the video is where the question comes in. And in the interview, Katie Couric asked Neal Katyal, about Clarence Thomas and investigations into Clarence Thomas, and she, I believe, cites a ProPublica article about that. And Neal just cuts her right off, says, I can't talk about this. I'd love to comment, I just can't talk about it, and cuts her off. Like he's got some insider information, or that he's part of that investigation, and he can't discuss it at all with her. And she probably knew that, and maybe that was just a way to let viewers know that he's involved in the case in some degree. I don't know. It was interesting. The viewer thought it was interesting. I'm sure you think it's interesting. So let's go ahead and take a look at investigations into Clarence Thomas, and then we can dive in a little bit on what is it that Neal's not telling us. Is it just that he's involved in the case, or does he know some juicy stuff that this case is uncovered and he's not allowed to share it? Entertainment purposes only. This is truly diving into the energy of the unknown here. One of those ones that's going to be hard to say, oh, David got it right or wrong, because we may never find out the answers. But again, entertainment purposes only. Let's be entertained. What is the energy around the investigations into Clarence Thomas and, just investigations into him, mostly probably centered around money. And there's money. Harlan Crow, was that the fellow's name? He's there's your Harlan Crow. I mean, this could be Clarence Thomas as well, but it's about money, wealth, and power. What are we crossing it with? And really, really bad choices. Not only should a Supreme Court justice know better, but the person with the money, they're not sincere. They are absolutely driving an agenda. I'm going to say this is Clarence Thomas, actually, believe it or not. And the reason why I say that is because it's money, it's for corrupt reasons, and it's to give him and his wife or their family, celebrating the family. This could also, again, it could also be Harlan Crow because he's welcomed Clarence Thomas into his family. I would be wildly curious, not saying anything about anybody and their friends that they make, but if Clarence Thomas wasn't a Supreme Court justice, if he was just a normal lawyer, judge, would we even be discussing Harlan Crow's relationship with Clarence Thomas? It just doesn't seem like it. But, who am I to judge? People have friends and they're allowed to have friends, as I've said before. What you're not allowed to do is corruptly bribe your friends to make rulings on court cases that you should have recused yourself for, take money and vacations and things of value, and not report them. That's unethical and it's illegal. So I think they're looking, basically, what's this investigation looking like? Money, unethical behaviors, and they're looking at his family and his friends. In the past, we've got the Seven of Cups. Lack of integrity. I won't even go to the delusions part. Seven of Cups is about integrity. It's about taking the good with the bad. When you take a Supreme Court position, you take it knowing that you could make a lot more money in the private sector, but for frickin' God's sake, you're a Supreme Court justice. There's only a handful of those in history, and your name gets to be on them. You get to be in the history books and in pictures and plaques and all the stuff that most public servants don't get. Right? And the downside is you're not going to make a metric crap ton of cash. You're taking fame and history and public service over the baubles of wealth. But not Clarence Thomas. Oh, no, 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 no. I want both. I don't want any of the icky ones. I only want the good ones. So I want to be in the history books. I want to be a Supreme Court justice, and I want to get paid. And they're looking into that and uncovering all the lack of integrity on Clarence Thomas's parts, from not declaring things to not recusing himself, the whole 9 yards. This investigation is looking at everything around Clarence Thomas. And the investigators, what are they finding out? They're finding out heartbreak and betrayals. They're just finding out how corrupt this man is. Sorry. Love to say I was wrong on that one, but nothing in Clarence Thomas's behavior seems to indicate anything other than betrayals. Betrayals to the oath of office that he took. Betrayals to the rule of law. He's in a position of high trust. You need extreme integrity to be in this position. And he doesn't have it. And because he doesn't have it, it makes it easier to betray the trust of the American people. They're looking at his decisions. They're looking at money and his decisions and his values and how things have changed. I'm sure they're tracking court cases coming in, financials coming in, ups and downs of financials, trying to make connections between cases and the financial prosperity, shall we say, of Mr. Thomas. Again, entertainment purposes only. This is just some random dude on the internet throwing tarot cards trying to read energy. What do I know? Oh, this card comes out a lot. Out comes the star card. Clearly they find that he's a... My brother and I have a running joke. And when we use the word clearly, it usually means anything other than the conclusion we're about to come to. Clearly is our sarcastic way of saying there's no possibility of challenging this the outrageous answer I'm about to give you. Clearly, Clarence Thomas is misunderstood. He's the star of the court. He's the best Supreme Court justice ever. And any investigations into him, he'll be cleared of because he's a star. Clearly. Clearly, that is the only conclusion we can come to with this. His star has fallen. His star has fallen. He had his opportunity in the early 90s with the whole Anita Hill thing. Really, he shouldn't have been put in the first place. But he got in. All right. Once in, you have a choice on the path that you go down. That tiger did not change his stripes. That weird look on my face is, I don't think that's a racist comment. Tigers change. For those not familiar with it, maybe I've got some folks in Europe. Tigers changing their stripes. The thing that defines a tiger are their stripes. And a tiger can't get rid of its stripes and suddenly not be a tiger anymore. You know what I mean? Tigers can't get rid of their stripes. Why? Because they're tigers and tigers have stripes. Clarence Thomas is who Clarence Thomas is. Maybe he could have made a choice and tried to be better than that and, own the stuff he did and try to never repeat that and take a much higher path. It doesn't appear that was the life choice that he made. It's also funny. My brother and I also have the phrase, which usually means I'm insulted. But that in this case, this is more of a, it's unfortunate. He and Ginny seem to are really into each other. At least they were when they were younger. Let's assume that they are, and they really are best friends. How many people get to have a best friend, much less marry their best friend? He didn't need to harass Anita Hill. He was married to his freaking best friend, man. How could you even do that to your best friend? And how could you not value that relationship? And okay, so maybe you did this stuff and you made a mistake. His wife still loves him. So, man up. Do better. There's the double card just flipped over again. He can't, though. He just can't. That's not who he is. He's probably never been that way. And he can't be something that he's not. Again, the tiger cannot change his stripes. That's who Clarence Thomas is. Whether we like it or not is irrelevant. That's who he is. What am I going to throw on now? Oh, investigations. Keep coming down. So it looks like they're investigating his lack of integrity and the decisions he's making. What's the current status of this investigation? What do we know currently with it? Ace of Wands. It's still going forward. They've got leads that they're following, and they're pushing through. Maybe they found even new stuff that's causing them to push this case forward. Wheel of Fortune. I think they're still uncovering all the stuff that he's got going on. I don't know how fast this case has been moving. Part of it is because, the Supreme Court wants to police their own and stuff like that. So if they've been investigating him, it's been kind of quiet, behind the scenes type stuff. But those are two major arcana and an ace. How's the investigation right now? It's proceeding. They have a big stick. They're uncovering his behaviors, and they are seeing this man in a new light. Somebody may be a willing sacrifice here pretty soon. Oh, of course. One of the hot rumors, and who here doesn't love a hot rumor? One of the hot rumors is that they'll go after Clarence Thomas via Ginny Thomas. Basically, we're gonna throw the book at Ginny Thomas, or you could step down and spend time with her and her health. Spend time with your family. I think, and maybe that's what this is saying, is we're going to push forward with getting Clarence Thomas to resign because of the information we keep finding on him. Yep, the Hierophant. Government investigations like the Department of Justice looking into him. His rulings on the Supreme Court. A bunch of government stuff that's coming on with this here. And there you go. I don't know when. Tarot's not great at that. But they are working on having him leave. I doubt we'll have it by the eclipse. Either the solar eclipse or the lunar eclipses that are coming up. So that would be a fun one if it correlates with the moon blocking the sun type of thing. But even if it doesn't, it's coming sooner rather than later. It's going to be a victory. Everybody, I say everybody gets what they want, but okay, they're going to get what they want, and this could be after Biden's reelected. Wouldn't that make sense? Because if Biden's reelected, Clarence Thomas, part of the speculation why he hasn't quit is he's going to be damned if he's going to quit while a Democrat sits in the White House. Because that means the Democrat gets to pick the new Supreme Court justice. And he's hoping that Trump gets in there so that another conservative replaces him on the Supreme Court. And if, the election comes out and Biden wins, he's not going to make it another 4 years. It's not going to happen. Either the financial investigations will get him, or his health will get him. He is not lasting another 4 years. So get ready to walk. Lesson to be learned is the magician. They see through the illusion. They see through the lies. But I also think that because of the hard work that they did and letting history take its course. Look at all the major arcana here. 1, 2, 3, 4. By having him step down and retire on his own volition gives Biden the opportunity to announce his replacement. And it could signal to other Supreme Court members. This is a visual. Oh, I'm sorry. I sneezed. I might have another sneeze coming. Oh, terrible allergies these days. A messaging to other Supreme Court justices that might have some issues that, if you take a walk, we can maybe just let you go at this point. And yeah, outcome is the 3 of Wands. I think this plan that they're coming up with is pretty much it's about ready to set sail. I really do think they're going to wait when the elections happen and Biden's reelected, Thomas is gone, and then they're going to go after the next guy. Thankfully, it appears that all my allergies have cleared up, so I don't feel the need to sneeze again. I'm so childish sometimes. But you know what? I have fun. Oh, dear. Okay, so, yeah. Lastly, maybe we should just take a look at Three of Wands. Could you describe the next justice that they might be looking at? I don't know what my card here that would represent beer and calendars are, but I suppose if we get a cups and a wheel of fortune or something like that. Are there any investigations into Brett Kavanaugh? I need to ask about Neal Katyal too. Okay. Investigations into Brett Kavanaugh. There's a Four of Swords just popped up. Probably are, but they're on the back burner right now because he had all that information given to Trump and the White House lawyers that never got investigated. Brett Kavanaugh investigations. What's that looking like? Queen of Pentacles. I think they're sitting on it for now. They've got other things they need. Other battles they're fighting up front here. I think they're also going to look to see how things go with Thomas. Because if Thomas takes their offer, it sets them up for what they're going to do with Kavanaugh. Oh, that's a great card for Kavanaugh, don't you think? The tearful crying. The guy who goes on beer runs. The guy who's fighting all the time. Fought everything. The man baby. Mama, little mama's boy. I think they're looking into him. They're going to be looking into him next and how he got in and all those behaviors that we got going on there. Yeah, he's not getting off. He's not getting off scot-free. Now, Neal Katyal. Didn't want to comment on that Katie Couric story. What can you tell us about what Neal Katyal knows about this investigation into Clarence Thomas? Yeah, we'll probably never find this out unless after Clarence Thomas is gone and there's a court case or something like that. Neal Katyal might be free to speak candidly about that. But what's Neal Katyal? What does he know about Clarence Thomas and the investigation into him? All right, let's see. Let's see. Neal Katyal. He ain't nobody's fool. I ain't gonna tell nobody nothing. He might be part of the early stages of that investigation. In the agreements. Yeah, the Fool card and the Two of Cups agreements. Again, this I might just gonna get that he's involved with it, but he's basically signed an NDA where he's not allowed to discuss it. Yeah, I think he's involved. He's not discussing, but it has a lot to do with money. He's looking. He might be involved with like the money aspects, or he knows stuff about the money that was coming through. Queen of Pentacles, just like with Kavanaugh. Remember with Kavanaugh had debts paid off. And I wonder if and Clarence Thomas had debts paid off too. With his Harlan Crow buying his Clarence Thomas's mom or his grandmother's house, and other such things. It's all, again, it's about the money. That he's getting more money. About the money that he got in the past, take care of Clarence Thomas's family. About Clarence Thomas and the messaging of money. He was getting ready to quit the Supreme Court, and then all of a sudden he's not going to quit anymore. And money started. That's right around the time Harlan Crow and he became fast friends. Remember this card came out on the outcome here? currently they're getting ready with plans with him. Probably the same plans that they're going to throw at Kavanaugh, but it's kind of the what does he know? He knows about the money. He knows about Thomas going out and looking for it, or the money being offered to him. Could be overseas money. It could also be that they're getting ready to let Thomas know about their investigation. Yeah, probably the latter. They're waiting for the last few things to come in. Again, this could just be the elections, and then they're going to come in and say, you're done. Here's everything we have. Do you really want to go to court? Yeah. And at that point, it's like, do you really want to go to court? You make a good choice. So on that reading from back then, I'm not sure how much he knew. He probably knew some of the early money stuff. But I think what this reading is also saying is we've progressed. The investigation has progressed. And Clarence Thomas, again, appears to be on his way out the door. I would expect it to happen in end of 2024 or sometime in 2025, when basically there is no chance that a Republican's going to be the president and replace Clarence Thomas with a conservative, and probably them laying out their cards, everything that they've got on him and everything they have on his wife. And we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. And Clarence Thomas will be all grumpy and bitter about it. But you know what? He's a grumpy, bitter old man anyways. He was probably a grumpy, bitter young man, a middle-aged man, and in his fall years, man. Whatever, man. Dude had a really interesting life, and whatever. He's not appreciative. It just does not appear he's an appreciative person. And he just has an axe to grind with everyone. Again, I don't know how Ginny Thomas put up with him, but I guess maybe they're the same. I don't know. He's lucky. He is lucky he married his best friend. How many of us have the ability to say that? I could say it. Michelle and I are like peas and carrots. Again, that purple pimp hat, that's her hat. I bought it for her, and she's a good sport. When I have a picture of her when we first purchased it, and she's rocking it. But we have a fun time with it. Gave it to my nephew for a while, and I think he wore it to his prom. We're a twisted family. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I do appreciate it. Thank you for your shares and your likes and everything you do to feed the algorithm, so my videos make it out to a wider audience, which has been growing a lot recently. Thank you very much for everyone for what you've done on this. And for the folks that have just joined recently and are helping the channel grow, welcome to the channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.